Hi, I think I'm live. Yes. Okay. I think we're live. All right. If you can see me, please let me know that you can see me because we are live. Yep. All right. So if you're just coming up, let me know that you can see me. We're live both on our YouTube channel and Facebook. God was a woman. All right, so it's International Women's Day yesterday. I'm wishing every woman out there, this is for you. And yes, because it's my birthday tomorrow too. All right. Please, if you're just joining us, tell us where you're joining us from. And tell me a hi, a hello. Any of them will do. Just say hello, I'm watching you from so place. Violet! It's good to see you. All right. If you've been watching me before, just say hello. If this is your first time, put a hashtag and say first time catching you live. Strength of a woman. All right. Please tell us where you're watching me from. I'm streaming live from the capital city. All right, thank you so much for joining me. I can see that our chats I'm unable to. Why is that? Okay. All right, so hello, everybody. Let's get started. Happy International Women's Day to every woman out there. I am today and okay. I want to be sure that I'm here. Okay, it's International Women's Day. It was International Women's Day yesterday, and yesterday I was in a program being interviewed on a TV program in Abuja, and part of the things that we discussed, right, was women in business, the pros, the cons, and then particularly we talked about the Intentional Parental Academy. All right, you're welcome here. You are welcome here. Like I said, if you're watching me for the first time, right, Dr. Emmanuel, I see you, sir. If you're watching me for the first time, just put hashtag watching you live first time. Okay, thank you so much for coming live with me. All right, someone says, what, coach, you changed your hair? Yes, it's my birthday tomorrow. I just want to look a bit different. Yeah. Okay, so let's keep rolling. Today I am bringing you a topic after my very heart. So of course you're going to know how that is going to go during the course of us being here. Like I said earlier, I'm streaming live from the capital city of Nigeria. I am in Abuja. So if you're in Abuja, say hi. Hi, Peter. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining me. Akintayo, I see you. Gloria, I see you. Gift, Jane, Elizabeth, Rejoice, Patient, Oyibo, Ogochi, Joy. Sorry if I didn't mention your name. It was just that I maybe the chats were too fast and I'm not able to say it. I don't know why I cannot see chats on YouTube, but I know that I'm streaming live on YouTube. I can see myself live. Hi, Topsy. Thank you for all you do. Thank you, everybody, and welcome here. Today, we're talking about how to raise children who operate on higher function. How to raise children who operate on higher function. I give an example. Hello, Mom. I give an example, right? And that example, I shared when I was sharing my post this morning. And I said, a particular woman had come to me and said to me that the father gave her marks, because she kept late nights. And that actually made her, she was trying to tell me that, hey, some of those things our parents did, they did it so that we can become better. No doubt. All right. The intentions was so that we can become better. Okay. And she said to me, right now, you can't find me outside of my home late night. And that is because my father did this to me. And hey, shout out to my mom. That song I played today, she actually sent it to me yesterday, in commemoration of the Women's International Women's Day. And my mom is right here watching me. Thank you, mom, for all you do. All right. So, and by the time she came to me and she was, trying to actually prove to me that that was the right thing to do. Now, by the time we sat down in conversation, and we started the conversation, and then we had to go into a session. We got into a session, and by the time she was leaving that same day, she realized that she might have lost even much more than just not being able to be outside in a particular time. Intentions are good, but intentions are not enough. Intentions are good, but intentions are not enough. On your journey as a parent, you must understand that your intention is not just, about the things that are in your head. Your intentions will be good, will be awesome. And I started that chat with, but we turned out okay. I have written an article on this severally, and I have, over and again, given reasons why operating and raising children who operate at a higher function is important on our journey. Stay with me. There's a book that I read. Before I read that book, I've got into research to study the pattern that was used on many of the people, right, that were raised a certain way. I came to the realization that there was a pattern. I got a book called Unlocking the Secret to Raising Highly Successful Children. And they carried out a research on 200 successful adults, called them Elon Musk, all of them all over the world, Dangotes and all of them. And they found out that there was a pattern in how they were raised. Same pattern. This pattern is void of how rich or poor you are. It wasn't a matter of economic status. It was in the pattern. The pattern was actually most important. And by the time they continued this series, they found out that there was a common factor. Every high functioning individual was raised with a pattern. Every high functioning individual was raised with a pattern. Just recently, I started to study the high, in quotes, the people who will call successful in this part of the world. Someone is asking if they can invite their friends. Oh, yes, please invite your friends, tag them. On our YouTube channel, you can share the link to family and friends. On our Facebook, you can tag them because it is a private Facebook group and you need to actually be able to tag them. That's the only way they can see and make sure that you have invited them. My team will approve the invite if you do that. All right. So you find out that there is a pattern. One of the things that I'm going to teach you today is the pattern in raising those children who actually, operate at those higher functions. Last week we established, and I told you that for you to actually get the amygdala part of the brain to actually function, to function on this higher functioning level, that you need the habits that last and the skills that transform. And we talked about it, talked about a lot about habits that last and skills that transform. That's actually the real thing that you should be looking at when you are raising a child. Now, what are these patterns? These patterns were, all, they were all the same for these individuals. Recently, I saw an interview of Elon Musk's mother, and I think I'm going to share that video right here. And that interview it was just all about pattern. There was this same pattern that was used to raise the mosque. Now, the question you want to ask yourself is, are we replicating that same pattern? Now, the problem with our clime, for those of us who come from Nigeria, is that we are we're not in tune. We don't even know what these patterns are. We don't even know what it means for individuals to function on a higher level. Now we have everybody, which is one of the reasons why we say things like, but we turned out okay and it doesn't matter. Okay is the word. Most of us are not operating on the higher function. So what are the things that actually was that pattern that we use? Time will not permit me to be able to tell you, oh, this is how they did it and all of that. It is part of the courses, yes, that we do in the inner circle, yes. If you're not in the inner circle, sorry, I can help you. Prepare to join us in 2022. But it's something that we treat extensively. But I'm going to read it out to you. You can also research on that. Number one is the early learning pattern. Becoming an early learning partner to your child is one of the things that you would need to raise children who function on the higher level. Yes. So when I talk about early learning partner, it is important. Oh yes, Chedoze, success can be duplicated. If you learn the patterns, you can reproduce them. And which is one of the things that I am teaching, right? Ability to reproduce success patterns. Okay, I said early learning pattern, very important. I was teaching the parents in the inner circle, and I told them that my dad taught me, the basics of writing when I just started, when I was just growing up. And it wasn't for a competition. It wasn't for a competition. It was, for me to actually understand the joy of learning. Yesterday, while I was on TV, I was asked the difference between our parenting here and parenting in other climes. And I said, I have represented Africa on a global stage in California. And one of the things I picked out from that conversation, in 2019 is our parenting issues are the same. The difference is ability to learn. Now, because a lot of the people that were in competition with him have the early learning pattern, we don't. Now, part of what happens is that without this early learning pattern, I'm going to speak a little bit, gibberish. Just permit me. You might suffer learned helplessness as we go. Now, learned helplessness is a psychological term that tells you that even though that you think you should learn, but you do not have the joy to learn. Which is why you hear people say things like, do what works for you. It doesn't matter. What works for you might not be the best. That's the truth. Because I saw where someone shared and said, you can be married and decide that adultery is what works for you. Does it make you right? So what works for you it's not usually what is right. What works for you can actually be wrong. So when you come in to say, just stop preaching to us, just do what works for you, it beats me. It beats me because when we say do what works for you, yet we actually agree that there are patterns to success. And don't kid yourself, parenting is life and parenting is part of life. So if there is a principle to life, then it simply means that parenting, which is also life, has principles and you can't bypass them. I like the way Cosmos said it. Cosmos Madoka, who is the CEO of Coscharis, he says if you bypass patterns, if you bypass principles, you will make mistakes. So don't tell me, oh, I know what I'm doing. Oh, I don't need all of this. And oh, I've gotten it all right. I like the way that the parents in the inner circle say. The moment you register in the inner circle, right? You get into the inner circle. In the we're just in February, right? In March. A lot of the parents in the inner circle are like, I didn't know that I didn't know all of this. And they are beginning to unlearn the things that they thought that they know. My best definition of education is learning the things you think you didn't even know that you didn't know. Learning the things you didn't know that you didn't even know. Because there are a lot of things that we don't know that we don't know. You just think you know them. And you know the truth. You don't know it. You don't know it. No magic is going to happen. Okay, so number two, you must reveal. You need to teach. That's the next step of the pattern. When you are going to raise children who operate at a higher function, you need to teach them the review principle. What I call the review principle. In summary of this principle, right? One thing that I would tell you is that teach your children that life is bigger than that your thought process. That your thought process that tells you that you need to do what works for you. Life is bigger than that. That's the review principle. The review principle teaches that it is not just about you. If you're going to raise children who function in higher level, it means that it's not going to be just about you. You are too small. The word is bigger than who you are. So you need to tell yourself, I need to learn the review principle. Like I said, I might not have the time. I don't have the luxury of time to share a lot of things. And then I also do not have the luxury of speaking to, talking about some terms just out there, right? Yes. So you need to learn the review principle. That's number two. Number three, you need to support your child's thinking. If you must raise children who operate on higher function, you need to support how your child thinks. So you might think differently from how your child thinks. And that is why what works for you might be wrong. Yes, because how your child thinks might be bigger, in quotes, than what your thinking level is right now. And if you do not let yourself grow, your child might not be able to, because you are shortchanging your child when you say you do need knowledge. Because where your child stops is where your knowledge stops. So you're going to be stopping your child on the tracks of knowledge if you actually do this. So number three, you need to support that child's thinking. How do you support the child thinking? I've said before and I've shared on how to raise independent thinking children. I'm not going to go into that. You can find a guide. Our guide on raising independent thinking children will help you. You can reach out to us and get it. Another thing that they did was modeling. I like the way one of our facilitators in the inner circle, shared it. She said, when you're giving a child, you're giving a car without all the addendums, a prototype. The prototype kind of car is what helps you to now fit in, right? When you bring it, you're now fitting all the skills that make the car what it is. The power steering, the awesome tires, the colors that make it do. You are the one that will bring all of that info. And how do you do this? Modeling. Anything you model is going to show on your child, good or bad. It doesn't even matter. Your child cannot decipher what you're doing that is good, is bad. It's really neither here nor there. Do you know why? Because that's how it was, modeled. That we are going to be giving prototypes and they will soak into the things that we're, presenting. Which is why many of the times you get modeled some things and you can't, even though you know it's wrong, but you can't get yourself, to get it out of you. There are actually 10, but I'm going to just share a few and then we continue. Negotiation skills. One of the patterns that you must also put in place is the negotiation skill. Now, there is a formula. What do you do to operate, right? Higher function. Yes, the brain cannot decipher negative modeling. No, they can't. Habits can be tough to build. These are the three things that you need to be able to build on habits. Remember that we talked about the habits that last, and we talked about the skills that transform. Habits can be difficult to build. But these are the three things that you need to remember whenever you remember building habits: motivation, discipline, and habit building. Motivation, discipline, and habit building. Now, research has found that abstract thinking, is an effective method to actually help discipline. I'm going to go a bit into all of this, right? So you need to understand that you need to help your child become motivated to do things internally and not just externally through punishments or rewards. When you make discipline about rewards or about punishment, what you're going to end up doing is that you're going to end up not understanding, right, that it is about the structure. The reason why we yell, the reason why we hit a child is that we still do not understand that structure is important. Structure is important. All right. A few days ago, I shared on last Tuesday, I shared on the rule. I shared on what yelling can do to the brain. And I said yelling affects the brain so much that it actually alters how the amygdala, which is the learning center in your brain, okay, how the amygdala actually operates. And the moment that happens, it shuts down the higher function in your child. So when you say, but we turned out okay, yes, we are okay, but we are operating at the average level. There is more. That's my point. There's more to how this can actually be. So when children are motivated through internal things, that building children who have self-discipline instead of yelling and screaming and hitting them, then that is results. That is results. One of the things that you need to begin to look at is how do you begin to look at some of these things and begin to build them. You need to create behavior change. Now, in the no yelling challenge that is coming up on the 1st of April, what we are doing for you is to develop behavior change. Without behavior change, you will not have results when it comes to discipline. You need behavior change. You need to understand that excessive options must be eliminated if you must build a structure. Time won't permit me to actually say some of the things, go deep. I need to also not, I need to, look at our time. But when I talk about excessive options, I remember that it was Tobe who responded to someone, on our Facebook community who was saying, oh, all this intentional parenting, oh, why must we not beat children? Oh, we must beat them. If we do not beat them, we have gone against the law of God. And the question I keep asking parents is one question. If I raise my child to be self-disciplined, understand purpose, know God without having to hit them, would I have sinned in the presence of God? So when we come out with all of the, oh, we need to actually just heap on those children and just kill them, in quotes, before they actually understand how to do it. Last Sunday, it was a power parenting Sunday in my church. I was listening to Bishop Oyedepo and he said, I can't remember being beaten myself. I was raised by my grandmother. And he said something. He said, if you want to fly a plane, I want this to stick in your head. If you want to fly a plane and you beat someone to fly a plane, the person will never fly that plane. No matter how long you beat the person is going to die and will never learn to fly that plane. Does that tell you something? No matter how much force you use on a child, no matter how much excessive, you just want to heap all your strength and all of that, without teaching skills, you will fail. Quote me. That's what I said. So when you put a child in front of a plane without teaching them how to fly, the child is going to be there. It doesn't matter how long you beat the child. It does not matter. If you want, go to whatever. It does not matter. A child who don't teach skills is a failed human, no matter how much you beat them. So when I was talking about the excessive options, a lot of people actually think that intentional parenting tells you to raise children who are useless. I don't know where we got that from. I don't even know where we got the idea. My mom is watching me on this broadcast, right? And my mom never hit me. I don't know, am I useless? I keep asking this question. Nobody has been able to answer me categorically. I'm not useless. My mom has 5 children that she didn't have to hit. So it's in the understanding of the skills that you options and not make it excessive. Okay? So I am going to actually be teaching them. So if you want to be part of the No Yelling Challenge, of course, we still have the No Yelling Challenge still ongoing. So registration is starting on the 1st of April. But interestingly, if you don't register by next tomorrow, then the prices go up. You will pay double. It is currently 4,999, but after that, after the 12th, it's going to double to 10,000. So the choice is yours. You can give me the extra. I would love it. After all, tomorrow is my birthday. Yeah. All right. Number three. You need to teach process plan. How do you create process plan? Process plan is about what is your process? What are the things that you're thinking, right? What are the things how do you want to get there? It is okay. So when we talk about habit building, I'm going to come there. How we build habit, the cues, the rewards, and all of that. The process is what we are asking you to change. We're not asking you to change the cue. We're not asking you to change the reward. Another point that you must do is that you must embrace discomfort for mastery. Discomfort for mastery. That's also one of the things that you must be able to build in your child to raise children who operate at higher function. Another thing that you must note is that you need to spend more money on experiences, not on things. You need to spend more money on experiences, not on things. When you spend more money on experiences for your child, you will be able to build, because human beings, habits that last is built from experiences, not just things. So if you are able to put in more into your experiences, then you would actually have success. Another thing that you must put in place is that you must eliminate shortcuts. You know, I have said over and again that parenting is not about tips and hacks. Eliminate shortcuts today. You know, people listen to me on a broadcast and say, "Oh, I listened to you on a broadcast. I just started doing all shortcuts." Commit yourself to the process, because shortcuts backfire. The reason why you think that intentional parenting does not work is because you want to use the shortcuts. But intentional parenting is not a shortcut thing. It is a process. Shortcut is the other kind of parenting, not intentional parenting. If you're going to intentionally parent your children, then you must eliminate shortcuts. All right? I said you must spend money on experiences and not just on things. And I try to explain how experiences actually helps us, operate on higher functions. I was in an interview and, someone asked me and said, the way you speak tells me that you have a world view of this subject. It is experience. Experiences put you on that space, not just the things that you buy. So when you have those experiences, you're able to actually, do all of this. Then the last one, you must choose positive discipline. If you're going to raise children who operate on higher function, you must choose positive discipline. There's no way about it. And when you come to me and say, "Oh, children must be disciplined," children, I agree with you. The principle is discipline. But there is something, the routine is what is the problem. So every child who is, successful, every human being has that route, discipline. But the question I want to ask you today is, what is your routine of the discipline that you are using? One of the reasons, that why we can't redo our pattern of positive discipline is habits. All right? One of the reasons we can't redo our patterns of positive discipline is habits. Let me tell you, for you to, build or raise children who operate at higher function, you must, not you will, you must eliminate negative discipline. What is negative discipline? All those you're yelling up and down, you're flogging, you're jumping up and down, they are negative discipline, sir. There are positive discipline that you can use that are much, much more effective than even that yelling, hitting, and all of that. You can actually do more with your children when you actually embrace the positive discipline scenarios. When you yell continuously, I've shared that before, the amygdala shuts down, which is what helps the brain. The amygdala, by the way, is what helps the brain to run on a higher function. So when you continuously yell, you're simply saying, I am not interested in raising anybody who runs on a higher function. So the choice is yours, really. How is habit built? How are habits built? There are three simple steps in which you build habits, which is what these steps are the things we're going to take, to build the habit of not yelling in the non-yelling challenge. We're not just saying, oh, come and talk, or somebody said, I heard you talk about no yelling challenge. I just decided in my house that I'm going to stop yelling. But unfortunately, stopping yelling isn't the issue. This person didn't have tools. So the person went back with no tools and came back and got frustrated. She even shared on the Facebook group, this thing does not work. I have tried it. You have no tools. Life abhors vacuum. You cannot remove a habit and not replace it. If you do, you will struggle. If you do, you will struggle. So when you are saying, I just stopped yelling, it's not easy, it's not possible. It is simply because you do not have replacements. For instance, I said that habits operate in three different lines. You have the cue, you have the routine, and you have the reward. I'm going to explain. The cue, is the trigger that tells the brain to get into an automatic mode. That's the cue. Excuse me. That's the trigger. That trigger that tells the brain, this is a habit you need to take in. This is a habit you need to take in. That's the cue. Number two is the routine. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be spiritual. What is the routine of that habit? The last one is the reward. Which that reward is what tells the brain that it's okay to remember this thing. When you use negative discipline, it doesn't follow this pattern, which is actually the problem. So when you share the cues and when you do the routine, and then the reward doesn't tell the brain that is worth remembering. So when you do that, for instance, you hit a child for doing something, the brain doesn't tell the child. That's why you find yourself hitting the child over and again. If you really would want to just hit a child, or you really would hit a child and it happens and it just changes the behavior, then you wouldn't need to hit a child again. So what it means is that if there are 10 skills you need to teach, you just need to hit your child 10 times. But that's not true. You find out that you're continuously hitting and yelling because those negative discipline does not follow this pattern. The cues, the routine, the rewards. So for you to build positive habit, the first rule of changing any behavior is to play by the rule. You need to play by the rule. The three-step loop, which is the hardwired in the brain. That's how the brain is wired. And this is what we'll be doing at that no yelling challenge. What we're going to be using these 3 steps to create the system. All habits are built on these 3 steps. But many of the negative habits, right, have these rewards that doesn't now give the brain. So the brain just continues on that pattern. When you are able to, if you must get rid of bad habits, then you must find out how to implement a healthier one. So if you want to actually, if you want to actually, the QRL, the cue, the routine, and the rewards. The cue, the routine, and the rewards. That's the process it follows for you to actually form habits. And so if you want to get rid of bad habits, you must find out how to implement healthier ones. For instance, if every day when you come out of the office, you hang out with your colleagues to drink, and of course that is an addiction. You're getting addicted to drinking. So every day you will have to drink alcohol, and then for you to socialize. Now the reward is socialization, which is okay. The routine is drinking, which is the problem. The cue, right, is what starts it, the trigger. All right, the trigger. So one of the things that you need to actually remember is that for you to replace this system, if you remove drinking from it, that system will fail. That person will still go back to the old structure. So in addiction training, you are actually trained, first of all, for you to stop, any form of addiction, you need to replace. That's the first, step. Replacement. What are you going to replace that with? So what we do when we say, oh, I have tried not to yell, I have tried not to yell, and it didn't work, is that we do not understand that there is a routine we need to change. Another thing is that we do not also understand that the reward system, of discipline is the same. The reward system is that I want a child who behaves better. But we're missing the cue and we're missing the routine. Now, for you to actually begin to eliminate things like yelling is addictive. A lot of the things that we do, a lot of the reasons why parents yell is because there's an addiction. So the more you yell, the more your dopamine rises. And you are excited. Come on. So when you yell, you feel this energy. I just yelled at them. And when you do that, it becomes, part of you. And for every time, you don't even know it, that you're getting addicted. For every time you see yourself yelling because it gives you this, drive. I just yelled at my children and everybody became quiet. Have you not heard parents who say that? Once I come in, I just shout, it resets their brain. That is you. You see that brain resetting thing? That is you actually getting to the point where your dopamine you're feeding your dopamine. You're feeding that, secretion of the dopamine, and it gives you a high. So yelling can be a high. It can give you a high. So which is why it becomes addictive. Which is why when you remove yelling, you feel choked at the first instance. Part of what we're going to be teaching in the No Yelling Challenge is to show you how to actually replace. Remember I said earlier that life abhors vacuum. Life hates vacuum. So if there's ever going to be a vacuum, if you're ever going to remove things like yelling, remove things like hitting your child, if you don't replace it, you will struggle, your child will struggle because you don't know what to do. Don't ever remove any negative discipline without replacing with a positive discipline. If you do, then you will be caught. You will be hit. So before you remove, one of the reasons why you think that it does not work, one of the reasons why you think that it does not work is because you do not have the tools for replacement. So in that No Yelling Challenge, we'll teach you how to keep the cue, keep the reward, and change your routine because they are the same. Intentional parenting teaches you to keep the cue and the reward and change your routine. That's what we're saying. That's what we'll teach and change your routine. Part of the things that we're also going to be offering you is, being in a group where you're going to learn together. There's something that group does. That's one of the things that the Inner Circle program has provided: accountability and belief. If you're in a place where you lack accountability and belief, you will struggle. It's a key ingredient in helping you build and stick to a new habit. If you want to start reading, please join a reading club. Like in the Inner Circle program, a lot of parents have started reading just because we have a reading, process. If you want to start to write and be held accountable, join a writing club. There's a thing in building, habits in that pattern. So the more positive reinforcement you can surround yourself with, the easier it will be to make difficult changes. One major key to successfully raising your child is self-discipline. Self-discipline, I'm sharing with you one of the higher functioning skills. There are about 10 of them. I will only be able to share one in this class. One of it is self-discipline. I tell you what self-discipline is. Self-discipline is not taught by you hitting a child. Like I said, if you beat a child from now till tomorrow to fly a plane, like Bishop Oyedebo said last Sunday, the child is never going to be able to fly that plane. That child will die while you're hitting him. and that plane will still not be flown. Does that teach you something? Does that show you something? Does that make you think through this whole process? So self-discipline is beyond just, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do, oh, if you don't do it, I'm going to beat you and all of that. It is you creating routines and structures. Intentional parenting strives on routine, structures, and a lot of positive discipline. When people come online or come on our community on Facebook and say things like, "Oh no, all these things people are saying, you're teaching people they should not be, they must beat their children for them to, do all of that." I just see, all of us not even being where, operating at the higher, functioning level. I give an example. Something happened in our community, and we said, I shared a post and I said, if you actually have to respond to someone, and have an exchange online, that there's something wrong with you. And I'm not mincing words, there's something wrong with you. A lot of people said, no, how can there be anything wrong with us? Do you know what has happened? We talk about discipline and how we were disciplined as a generation. When you come online, you see how indisciplined we are, which is what teaches you that discipline is not about hitting someone. Discipline is not about shutting people down. Discipline is about self-control. Discipline is about self-leadership. That's what discipline is about. If you're not teaching your children to be able to lead themselves, that's a failed process. If your discipline does not teach your child how to lead themselves, you have failed. If you have to be there every time telling your children what to do, that is a failed system. If you continuously have to be in a space and you continuously need to run around your children to say, oh, you must do that, you must do that, that is a failed system. So you need to go back today and ask yourself, what exactly does discipline even mean to me? A lot of us in our generation are not disciplined. I will tell you for free, doubt it. We're not disciplined. We were just afraid. We were given fear, which is why we can come online and abuse somebody and we feel good about it. Excuse me. And we feel good about it because what we understand is not a habit that lasts. What we were taught is not a habit that lasts. Self-discipline is a habit that lasts. Punishing your child to correct them, it's not a habit that lasts. It's not going to last. Which is why a lot of us think that some of these things are okay. I can't find myself exchanging words with someone online, no matter what I'm being told. Why? You know why? Because I understand I have been able to actually grow in self-discipline. Not because my parents beat me or because they told me what to do. It's because there's something called ability to lead oneself, which is one of the things we lack. We need to be able to teach our children to operate at that higher level, at that higher function. So operating at a higher function is you looking at your process and asking yourself, what is my routine? The process is the same, the cues, the routine, and the reward. TRR. But what you need to ask yourself is, what is my routine? And a lot of us have taken, to yelling as one of the things that we can do to actually do all of that, and all of that. I was a yeller myself. So don't get me wrong. This is not a judgment poll. So if you're still yelling, quit that excuse. Stop it, like they will say. Quit that excuse. And stop telling yourself, hey, that's how I am. I used to actually be there. Where I used to think, that's how that's how I need to just be. You just need to yell. If you don't yell, they will not listen. Who told you that? Who told you that? Yesterday I came home and I was, tired to say the least. And I got in home. I had a lot of programs, interviews, TV show, and all of that. I got in home and I just went into my room. And I also had a bit of, a bad day in quotes, where someone upset me. But I came in because I understand a lot of things. I didn't come screaming from my door. 10 years ago, maybe I would, but not now because I have been able to work on myself over the years. And I got in and, laid down, and my children were so empathic, brought in food, made sure. In fact, my son said, "Don't worry, I've become your official butler this evening. What else do you want?" You need to actually look beyond raising children that you're just jumping up and down to beat or to yell at, to children that you are instilling self-discipline in. I laid down on my bed, slept off, and my son will be 11 in April. He's still 10. Cleaned up all the kitchen, did all the things in the kitchen, sort out, sort out every things that they need, and then I went to sleep. This morning I still didn't wake up for them to do. I don't even have to do that. I have a set of twins who are 11. They both do all the routine sorting out of the home. It's not perfect, but you know what is awesome. So there is a structure that you need to build. So I know what it feels and feel like you have failed. A lot of the times, I got to a point where I was feeling like I have failed. I don't have to be yelling all the time. But you know the difference between me and a lot of other people is that I took responsibility. One of the problems that we are having currently today is that many parents have refused to take responsibility. So at some point in my journey, I had to do an honest review. I want you to ask yourself, that method that you're using currently, honestly review it. Is it really working? If it's working, I don't think we would really bother. So when we say things like, do what works for you, is that thing that you're doing, is it really working? 10 years ago on this journey, I told myself the truth. And I said to myself, this ain't working. I need to do something about it. Part of what we're going to be sharing at the No Yelling Challenge is the process that I use. I want to be able to actually help parents, right? To actually do this same process and walk away and eliminate this thing for good. It is destroying your pattern. It is destroying your routine. It is destroying your child. Yelling actually affects how your child's brain develops. I shared that in the last class. You can catch replay. So one of the things is you need to understand that you need to discover why. Doris, thank you for being so honest. Because I got to a point where I had to discover why. I had to ask myself, this thing I'm doing is not working. He's only a madman that does same thing over again and again and expects a different result. And when I realized that my method of yelling, screaming, hitting was not working, I took responsibility for my process. I need you today to take responsibility for your process. So Usamaka says, what if you speak and they don't listen until you yell? Because you have wired them. You have wired them to only listen when you are yelling. Is it even a good thing that you need to yell for your child to even listen? At some point on my journey, I have to tell myself, this is bad. I'm not raising animals. I am raising human beings. Why do I need to raise my voice? Have you seen? There was a study on how horses are trained. Do you know that the horses who are trained with calmness actually end up, not being able to answer, not being able to answer, what's it called? Not being able to answer harsh words. It's the way they are raised. Then when you raise horses and you are constantly screaming, they can never hear you when you speak softly. It is a proven research. Your child cannot hear you when you have already modeled and programmed them to only hear you when you yell. It should worry you. You should be worried if the only thing your children understand is when you scream. You should be worried. You should be worried. I was worried many years ago. I became pretty very much worried because I was a chronic yeller. What I'm teaching you in the No Yelling Challenge is my journey. I'm not teaching you someone. I'm not replicating a journey of somebody. What I teach you, many of the things I teach you are not Googleable, like I would say. I'm teaching you process. I'm teaching you experiences. I'm teaching you things that have been proven researches. All right. So a lot of the times it's just us sitting down and just telling ourselves things like, no, that's how our parents did it. That's how our parents did it. And so we're going to just do it like that. Who likes to be yelled at? Thank you, Tobe. Nobody. Nobody. So imagine that your husband yells at you. So your husband is probably bigger than you in quotes, and then he yells at you all the time. And let's assuming that you depend on him for everything. So imagine when you yell at a small child who depends on you for their emotions, who depend on you for their everything in life. A few days ago, my son just said, I think the work in the kitchen is a little bit too much. All I need now is a hug, Mama. And once I hug you, I'm going to have more strength. He comes and he hugs me and then he gets back to the kitchen. I had a good laugh. He depends on me for emotional stability. I can't fail him. If it doesn't bother you, when you look around you, what you can find, then you should continue doing what you're doing. I saw where Marybeth, thank you for being here. I saw where Marybeth was sharing it. I said, if it doesn't bother you, if you're okay with the status of things around you, then it's fine for you to say, do what works for you. Do what works for you. All right? Yes. So if your husband is constantly, putting you down, constantly yelling, how will you feel? Not to talk of a child who is just so little, who depends on you for practically everything. Practically everything. You shut down their security process because you want to constantly prove a point. When you parent the heart of a child, I was sharing this with the inner circle parents. There's a difference between parenting the behavior of your child and parenting the heart of your child. It's not the same. In the past 2 weeks, we have dealt with, not 2 weeks, in the past 1 week, we have dealt with 3 cases of suicide among 10-year-olds. Don't kid yourself. What you're doing, if it's not working, it's not working. Stop sounding woke on social media. It's not going to help you. So all those wokeness talk, all those, we're just woke. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. Oh, it doesn't matter. All these things they're saying, we can do these things and it's working. Oh boy. At some point, I don't know how you do your own analysis, but when things are not working for me, I tell myself some gospel truth and I redress and I look out for why they are not working. So you need to discover why. And the next step is that you need to, commit to breaking the circle so that your children will carry it forward. Yes, yelling is, it makes it difficult. It makes parenting so tiring. You just want to be shouting up and down. You even be so stressed. And you know the truth. It also gives you high blood pressure. It gives you, different health issues. Why have you chosen to just remain on a pattern that is obviously not working? It's obviously not working. Your child's self-esteem is being downtrodden on every single day. Most importantly, their higher functioning skills is shut down. And we think it's okay. It beats me how we think that some of these things are okay. Sometimes I read some charts in the community on Facebook and I feel really sad. But on the other hand, I come into the inner circle parents, the over 600 inner circle parents today, and I'm glad that there are parents who have even decided to commit on this journey. So we need to understand. That we must commit to breaking this circle so that our children will not carry it forward, which is actually even the problem. My own dad was a yeller. My mom is here watching me. I've said this over and again. And it was a pattern that I took that at some point I questioned it. All right? I questioned it. And, I saw myself doing same thing. Do you know why? Life abhors vacuum. I didn't have any tool to replace it. I started to learn. I started to tell myself that I can't parent this way. Why are you sitting in a place telling yourself that this way you are parenting is what works for you? Meanwhile, it's not working for you. Is it so that what will happen? So that people will hail you and say, oh, yay, parents that still beating a child. Is that what this is about? Or you want award for being a yeller? Or you want an award for hitting children? I don't get it. If there's a better way to do these things, what is the problem with getting the better way? I still don't want to, I still do not understand why, getting, learning positive ways is a problem. I learned. I have not come to you on a troll of perfection. Everything you have read in my words, connect to correct, the discipline that works, from yelling to calm, they are my stories. They are all my stories. They are my stories of how I've failed and what I have been able to do to parent like a boss. It's not brag. I have worked hard for it. I've worked hard to parent the way I'm parenting. You too can. That's my point. My point is that you also can. If I can do it, then you can do it. When people say, oh, spare the rod and spoil the child, used to be my favorite Bible quote. I confess. And before you even say it, bam, I will just tell you, no, you need to. But as knowledge, see, wisdom is the principal thing. My pastor will say that there's no mountain anywhere. Your ignorance is your mountain. The day you learn is the day you break and shatter that mountain. There are some knowledge that you will get into, you will not need to pray. Don't get me wrong. It's not like prayer is bad. It's just that you would not need to disturb God because God has given you it. If God wanted us to depend on Him for everything, what I mean, ask Him, oh Lord, so this, without us, gaining wisdom, without us being responsible, then God could have just made us dummies. But we're not. We were made this way for a reason. Right? We're made this way for a reason. Yes, you need to actually, operate on a higher function. And for you to raise children who operate on a higher function, you need to teach your child, yourself, to operate on a higher function. Right? I don't even get this, oh, we must yell. Somebody actually told me, I cannot parent without yelling. You feel bad. So what we are going to teach you at the No Yelling Challenge is to replace this yelling, this screaming yelling, is to replace it with positive tools. You need to replace it. It's a habit. So if you don't replace it, then it can't work. That challenge starts on the 1st of April. And if you make payment between now and the 12th, because of my birthday, I just left it open at $499. The real cost of No Yelling Challenge is $15,000. Ask anybody who has been in the academy 3 years ago. That's what they paid. But with my birthday, we decided to actually make this offer so that everybody will be able to get it. So if you want to join the No Yelling Challenge, just put in the comment section, No Yelling. No Yelling, and you will get details of how to make payment to join the No Yelling Challenge. Please, we have a limited number. As of today, we're over 100 parents on that challenge. Of course, you know that I like results. So for me to be able to reach everybody, there's a particular number that we're going to get to. I think it's a 150 or something. I can't remember, right? So it's something that you would need to work on. Okay, so if your yelling falls short of getting you the desired result, it means that you need to actually work on it. If you're a yada, no, you don't need to chat here. Just send the academy link, details. You have a further discount, all right, for being in the inner circle. If you find yourself yelling when you don't even realize that you're yelling. You don't even realize it. And somebody tells you you're yelling. You're like, no, I'm not yelling, no. Then you need this No Yelling Challenge. If it's easier for you to yell than to stay calm, then you need this challenge. I coined this question myself. I asked myself these questions. and I knew that I needed to do something. So I'm also putting it for you. All right. So you're paying 4,999 only between now and the 12th. All right. Do you need to yell more than you like? Then you need this challenge. Does your family say you yell a lot of the times? I've seen people make jokes, jokes like, and oh, my daughter said I yell too much. All right, Elizabeth, Elizabeth Edem, I see you. My daughter says that I yell too much. If you're that parent, then you need this challenge. All right, if your answer is yes to any of these questions, then you might actually be addicted to yelling. And the first step to stop any addiction is for you to take responsibility. And yes, you are here, and I would like to say, right? I would like to say that you need to take responsibility. Really means you being here means you are actually committed. You are actually committed. So you want to join this challenge? Just put a no yelling challenge. And by the way, I'm going to be live tomorrow. I'm going to be live tomorrow at 1 p.m. lunchtime to answer questions about myself, personal questions. My team is going to share a link to the group, and then I will answer personal questions. It will stream live both on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook channel, where I'll be answering some personal questions on my birthday. It's my birthday tomorrow, right? I'm going to be turning 36, and I will be sharing some of those questions, and I would also will be giving out a birthday gift. I'm going to do an offer, but it will have a limited time, and it will just be at a time when I come live, and the time, in the morning, okay, we can share it, and then, but it's just going to be 24 hours only for the birthday. So stay tuned and listen, and so that you will get all the juices, right, of the birthday that is coming up tomorrow, and everything that you need to see. But the no yelling challenge itself, starts on the 1st of April, right? On the 1st of April. And on the 1st of April, we're going to start that challenge. I want to answer the questions that came in. Please, if you want to be part of the no yelling, don't finish listening and just tell yourself, oh, I just need to continue. Let me just be doing what it is that I'm doing and all of that. There's a limitation, all right? It's a limitation that you're creating, for yourself. Join this challenge, and I bet you this challenge is going to change your life. It has changed the lives of many when it comes to, yelling. All right. Somebody said, your lashes are making you look stressed. No, I'm actually stressed. I was stressed yesterday. So today I'm home resting. So no, yes, it's not all of that. All right. So by the 12th, which is next tomorrow, this offer to get that, ends on the 12th. Right. My birthday is tomorrow. So it's not even healthy for one to yell. Yes, it's very unhealthy. I know yelling is not right, because even as a parent who yell or beard, you will feel bad. Oh, yes, you will feel bad. You will feel bad. All right? You will feel very bad. All right? Stephen is the one that says, yes, I look stressed. So today I'm going to just raise my leg so that by tomorrow I'll be looking very glittery. Okay. All right. Please, if you want to be, part of the no yelling challenge, just put no yelling in the comment section. Put no yelling in the comment section. One thing that I guarantee you is that you're not going to finish the no yelling challenge of those 10 days, and you will not be able to find tools to replace yourself. I saw where someone said, but my toddler is always touching things. And that no yelling challenge will teach you what voice is actually most effective for things like that. There are different no yelling voices. There are the yelling voices. Now, we also have a situation where you just need to yell. And what are those situations? And at what yellow meter will you be? There's something called a yellow meter. So at what yellow meter should you be when you are actually doing some of those yelling? All right. So if you want to be part of that yelling challenge, just put in the comment section no yelling. My team will actually respond to you, right? Thank you, Ruth Wero. My team will respond to you and give you details of payment on the no yelling challenge. The no yelling challenge will help you actually tremendously, right? Actually tremendously work on your yellow meter and crash it. Like I said, I have been in a place where I was a yeller myself. I want to pin what you need to actually do. I've pinned the comment, so you can see a pinned comment, and then you can take the details. This offer to get it at 4,999, right, goes off the table. It goes off the table by the end at the end of the 12th of March. As soon as that goes off, and remember that if you're paying at this current price, you also get a free copy of my book, From Yelling to Calm. And as soon as that offer goes off, we revert back for you to pay 10,000 naira, which is still a good offer because normally you can check our website. That cost is 15,000 naira. You can check our website. You can check www.theintentionalparentacademy.com. Tobe is here. I think Tobe had to pay 15,000 to do the No Yelling Challenge last year, 2 years ago or so. So this is us actually offering you, something amazing that you shouldn't take for granted. If you really want to work on your journey, one of the first things that you need to do, right? One of the first things that you need to do is to begin to remove and replace habits. And one of those habits that you must put together, right, is the habit of yelling. Yelling doesn't get you the result that you require. It doesn't. It kills your process. It kills your process. I am telling you for free. It's happened to me before. So I'm not just telling you things that are just, it happened to me. Okay. So all you need to do, right? All you need to do is to make that payment, reach out to us, and put all of that in perspective. On the 1st of April, we take off. This is one of the journeys. This is one of the journeys that will transform you. All right. Thank you so much, Mitch Henry. Oh, Mitch Henry Jack. Well done, ma'am. I see you, Mama. Nice meeting, having you here. I guess you're more settled now. Thank you for coming on. All right. If there are questions, I would answer the questions as we begin to round up. We have just 3 minutes to be here. If you want to be part of the No Yelling Challenge, you will see the pin post. I've pinned that, but you can also just put No Yelling, and someone will reach out to you for you to make payment. Please, this discounted offer ends on the 12th. Please, I'm begging you. We have already done, a lot to get this offer. The first time we did this offer, it wasn't even this way. It was 10,000 naira that we did this offer on. And I tell you, we had hundreds of parents in that class still. So we're still doing it on this offer, and we are hoping, that we are also being able to reach as many parents as possible who might not have been able to afford, being, in that other processes and all of that. So this will help many parents to actually begin to walk their journey. All right. Thank you, Amalola. I see you. All right. I'm the yelling type. I really want to join the No Yelling, but I don't have money. Who wants to pay for me? Thank you. Happy birthday in advance. Okay. Mitch said, can you throw more light on spending more on experiences than on things? That's like a whole full lecture. And Mama, don't worry. It's one of the things that we're going to do in the Inner Circle forum. So it's a whole course, right, that we're going to do. So we will add that. We'll add that to your process, and you will be able to actually, go through it. Time will not permit me to actually share all of this. There's a lot of aspects to it. So just permit me so that, but basically, like I said, it's all about, experiences being more than the things that you are investing in. All right, what experiences are you investing in? What kind of experiences do you want to put in, on your journey? Okay, I think that should do. Where we meet in the Inner Circle, and we would actually look at all of this. Just note that we're going to teach you the habits that last, the skills that transform, right, in the Inner Circle. So that is not a problem at all. My daughter is 7 and it's too late to start No Yelling. Also, I have younger ones of 22. Is it too late for me and them? If I start practicing and replacing, replacing and paying to attend. Doris, you can do this. Let me tell you one of the reasons why I also believe that you can is that I myself have parented a teen. So our foster daughter, we started parenting her a teenager. In fact, that was when I myself realized that what I was using was not working. Okay, like I said, I wanted to tell myself the truth, and part of the truth that I needed to tell myself was this is not working. I need to change my routine. You remember the CRR process. And I say, yes, this is the reward I'm looking for, but my routine is wrong. Okay. And I needed to change it. And one of the things I did was to begin to replace. It was hard. I will not lie to you. It is tough for you to start, at the end. But the truth of the matter is that if you're consistent and you're able and you're committed to putting your mind to it, you would have results. So, yes, it is possible. And I can assure you that you will see a lot of results. All right. Can you give examples of positive discipline? Okay, so in my book, The Discipline That Works, I'm trying to see if I have any copy here with me. The Discipline That Works. Yes, I shared different tools, 10 tools that you can use to replace negative discipline. One of these, this is Connect to Correct. You can get, the two books wherever you are. One of the things that I shared in the book, The Discipline That Works, is how you can replace, those negative disciplines with positive disciplines. And one of the one of the tools that I shared in this book is emotions coaching. What kind of discipline works? Emotions coaching. When you help your child coach their emotions, then your child will be able to understand a lot of things. So, another thing that you can do is also to use the concept of consequences. Another thing that you can also do is to use the concept of structure. When you use structure, then that is also a positive kind of, it's about you building skills that last instead of just things that give you instant gratification. I hope that helps. But if you want more explanation, this book is going to help you, and you can get a copy anywhere. You can get a copy of all my books. I have 3 hard copies now. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them anywhere you're in Nigeria. All you need to do is to reach out to us, make payment, or check our website. Check my website, www.wendyologe.com. If you check the intentionalparentacademy.com, you're just going to see courses, but the books are all hosted on my website. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Tomorrow, I'm going to be here having fun, catching fun with you just for a few minutes because I also have my team setting out some stuff, in my office. If you are in Abuja, you're welcome to come visit me tomorrow, okay? And have fun with me. And it is my birthday tomorrow, 10th of March. I like to say it's World Wendy's Day. Yes, so and so we're going to have so many things that we would be having for you. I have a present for you. Not particularly, I'm going to give you a gift. Yes, it is also part of my routine. Yeah, I am called to serve. That's why we're here. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Stephen. Oh, babe, Stephen, that said I was looking stressed. Thank you, sir. I'm looking stressed from yesterday. I had too much of a field day yesterday, so I'm using today to relax and all of that. So tomorrow we're going to come up in high spirit again. All right. Thank you again. If you want to join the no yelling challenge, all you need to do is put the no yelling challenge in the comment section and reach out to us. You will reach out, to us. Also, if you want to reach out to us for anything, oh why not? Oh why not? Please just kindly reach out to us, and we would help you on your journey. Please remember that the journey is not about just being here, right? Just being here, listening to tips and hacks. Commit to it. Join one of the courses to even learn, more. Buy a book today. Do something. Don't just leave it to chance. Parenting is about you and not your child. Thank you, everybody, and do have an amazing evening. And thank you again for all the birthday wishes. I see you all. Life, all right? If you can